Now let's continue with our study of the life of Padmasambhava. I will not cover too much today. Let's see where we left off in the book. Regarding our previous teachings last year, I have a marker here in my notes. It says our previous class last year was on October 15th, 2025. We left off last year with Guru Padmasambhava traveling from Nepal. He was subjugating many local spirits along the way. That was the main topic we discussed. To be specific, the previous section described how he performed many activities to divert water into various river basins. That is where we are now. You should know which page we are on. Let's continue with Guru Padmasambhava and see what he did next. Looking back at where we were last year, when King Trisong Detsen was building Samye Monastery, he invited Khenpo Bodhisattva. During the time he invited the Khenpo, various inauspicious events occurred in the Tibetan region, such as plagues and hailstorms. There were all kinds of negative signs. The local Tibetan people then started to complain. They blamed the arrival of Khenpo Bodhisattva from India and the practice of Buddhism for these troubles. At that time, perhaps Buddhadharma was not yet flourishing in Tibetan region. So the king said to him, "For now you have no choice but to return to India. We will invite you to return once the conditions are ripe." During the process, the king offered the Khenpo some gold. At that time, gold was quite abundant in Tibetan region. If you look at historical records, many Indian monastics would travel to the Tibetan region to seek gold. Likewise, many Tibetan masters would bring large amounts of gold dust to India to seek the Dharma. When the king offered gold and gold dust to Khenpo Bodhisattva, the Khenpo only took a small portion. Then he advised the king, saying, "There is the peerless Guru Padmasambhava, who is unparalleled in this entire world. You should invite him." The Khenpo then returned some of the gold dust and said, "Give this to the king of Nepal," who was the king of Zahor, right, to help invite him. Later, King Trisong Detsen sent envoys like Ba Sel Nang and others to invite him. Also, I have already translated the commentary of Chanting the Names of Manjushri, written by Guru Padmasambhava. It contains a historical account in the preface. Guru Padmasambhava himself stated that while he was staying in the Asura Cave in Nepal, he composed this commentary on chanting the names of Manjushri. Actually, this commentary is extremely important. We should pay more attention to it here. It is a tantra spoken directly by the Buddha, and Guru Padmasambhava explained it from the perspective of Tummo Yoga. In the Han region, there is a version by Chandragomin. There was a translation of his commentary available in the past. However, those translations are not quite ideal in certain parts. There were also some versions from the Tang dynasty. In the future, we will handle this according to the traditions of our own lineage. We'll talk about that when there's an opportunity. For now, my mind has been constantly focused on chanting the names of Manjushri, as I feel it is of vital importance. In the past, many great masters used to chanting the names of Manjushri every day, just as we currently recite the soul air of the Doctrine Tantra. Many people practice in this way. Concerning chanting the names of Manjushri, it would be a great pity if it were not propagated. It is a secret mantra spoken directly by the Buddha, so if we fail to spread it, it would indeed be a loss. But we will discuss that in more detail later. Now, in the preface of this commentary on chanting the names of Manjushri, there is a historical account. According to this history, when Guru Padmasambhava was in Nepal, through his meditative concentration, he saw that the king of Tibetan region needed his help, so he accepted the invitation. However, regarding the gold dust for his journey, there was a risk that he might be looted by robbers at the border crossings. To avoid being robbed, Guru Padmasambhava relied on his miraculous powers to travel to the Tibetan region. He arrived at Mangyul, or somewhere similar. There are slightly different accounts of this history, but the basic story remains the same. Guru Padmasambhava personally came to the Tibetan region. Once there, he subjugated all kinds of local spirits and deities one by one. I hope that you all will remember this history. I say this because internationally, people's views on Guru Padmasambhava are divided. While some have incredibly deep faith in him, others are strongly opposed to him. There are all sorts of different opinions. As we mentioned before, Guru Padmasambhava is a figure who truly appeared in history. He lived during the same times as King Trisong Detsen, who was born in 742 AD. He was a real person from that period who came to the Tibetan region. He is not just a mythical character. This is something we must understand. In our last class, I strongly encourage every one of you to recite the 7-line prayer on a daily basis. This is my sincere hope for you all. But sometimes what I'm actually thinking doesn't really come out right in the end. In my heart, I believe that if we all recite the 7-line prayer, everyone's spiritual practice will improve. When you truly pray to Guru Rinpoche, not just in name but in practice, the Dharma protectors will naturally favor you. Then all kinds of auspicious conditions and connections will naturally fall into place. There is so much to be said about Guru Rinpoche, but sometimes when I'm trying to say what's on my mind, I'm just not that happy with how it comes out. Still, being able to share this much is already quite good. At that time, Guru Rinpoche and his party appeared across from Oye. Guru Rinpoche then said, "Across this mountain slope lie many neighboring hells. The beings there are in a very pitiful state." Upon arriving there, they saw numerous beings trapped in the midst of boiling water. Guru Rinpoche simply performed a mental blessing, and the boiling water gradually became gentle and calm. This display demonstrated the power of a yogi's compassion. Generally speaking, however, when it comes to karma that must be experienced, even a Buddha's power has its limits. The Buddha's healing hands cannot block such results. Therefore, once Guru Padmasambhava released his concentration and ceased his mental focus, those sentient beings immediately began to experience their suffering again. While Guru Padmasambhava was physically present, the suffering of those in the neighboring hells was likely suspended for a time. This reminds me of the story of Pema Dundul. A certain tyrant from Nyarong demanded that Pema Dundul perform the power practice for him when he died. He might have even threatened the master to ensure it. The master agreed to do it. Since he had made that promise, when he later heard in Qinghai that the tyrant had passed away, he returned that very same day. By personally performing the liberation rites for him, the tyrant was liberated for a short duration. But because his negative karma was so severe, he eventually fell back into the lower realms. Such stories exist, and they likely reflect a true phenomenon. In the same way, to those beings in the neighboring hells, Guru Padmasambhava could not provide permanent help. Later, they arrived at a place called Retsa. There, the deity of Mount Ganga fled in a panic. Upon reaching the southern region, Guru Padmasambhava declared, "Now it is time to subjugate the deity of Tangla Mountain." The Tangla Mountains are a famous range located on the banks of Lake Yonso. The Nyenchen Tangla Mountains, as you all should know, are very high. The elevation is about 5,000 or 6,000 meters. They are quite well known. To deal with this mountain deity, Guru Padmasambhava headed towards the mountains. Specifically to subjugate this deity, Guru Padmasambhava began cooking the meat of a dead sheep inside a large copper pot. As it was cooking, a man named Retsa asked him, "What are you doing? If you intend to subjugate these mountain deities, why are you boiling meat? What is the purpose of this?" Guru Padmasambhava then explained his plan. The others started to laugh and said, "It seems you are about to tame a yaksha." Regarding Nyenchen Tangla, some ritual texts describe him as a diva, while others say he is a yaksha deity. As the Guru spoke, he said, "Since you believe this yaksha needs to be tamed, then great yaksha, deity of Tangla Mountain, please come and enjoy this." While saying this, he kicked over the copper pot with his foot. Most of us from the Tibetan region are familiar with this. I am referring to the concept of acrid smoke. If you throw meat, hide, or fur directly into a fire pit, it naturally produces a foul odor. That smell immediately offends the mountain deities. So when we were children, our parents would warn us about this. They would say, "Don't put meat into the fire, and don't let milk boil over into the fire either. Otherwise, the mountain deities will be displeased." This is indeed the case. Mountain deities and local earth spirits cannot stand the smell of burnt meat or skin. If they saw our modern barbecues, they would probably be driven absolutely crazy. Nowadays, every town and city is filled with the smell of mutton and beef. I don't think there is human meat, but almost every other kind of meat is being grilled. At that time, Guru Padmasambhava gave a kick and flipped the boiling meat right into the stove. At that moment, the deity of Mount Tangla just lost his temper completely. What happened next? Avalanches occurred, explosions rang out, and dark clouds gathered. There was a continuous and unbearable display of thunder, lightning, and hailstorms. All these signs appeared. Then Guru Padmasambhava made the wrathful, threatening mudra toward the mountain. Immediately, the snow on the peak began to melt. From then on, the deity was completely subjugated. He's often called Tanglaya. This name seems to be everywhere now, from Tanglaya hotels to the Tanglaya sacred mountains. It is used for many things. This Tangla sacred mountain is the one we often call Nyenchen Tangla. In many Nyingma rituals of Tibetan Buddhism, it is said that after the Guru subjugated this deity, the deity made a solemn commitment. He vowed to propagate the Dharma and benefit sentient beings, especially to protect the mantra practitioners. Regarding the deity of Tangla mountain, Mipham Rinpoche also composed some practice rituals. These texts describe him as an eighth ground bodhisattva. In our Chinese translation of the biography of Sera Khandro, well known as Ozer Khandro, there is a story about her mother. One time her mother went outside and fell asleep. While she was asleep, she was taken away by the mountain deity for 5 or 6 days. When she returned, she was pregnant. After becoming pregnant, she was really scared of what people would say, since it went against all social morals. But in truth, the child was the offspring of the deity of Tangla mountain. Later, when Nyenchen Tangla came to see Ozer Khandro, he said to the child, "Oh, my daughter," even though she felt it was totally wrong by traditional morals, especially since the baby was born in the form of an egg. It was like a chicken egg. However, her father was quite accepting, I mean her earthly father. I am not sure what a DNA test would show in a case like this, but involving the deity of Tangla Mountain might be complicated. In fact, he is an eighth ground bodhisattva. These are not just mere legends. They are based on actual accounts of true Dharma protectors and earth spirits. That is how it is. Furthermore, many ritual texts mention that Nyenchen Tangla made 3 distinct promises to Guru Padmasambhava. He vowed to protect and propagate the Buddha's teachings. So there are many rituals associated with Nyenchen Tangla, but we will discuss them another time. Let's stop here for today.
Bandharangara Padmasambhava